Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome to this week's Small Cap Big Gains report and special presentation that we've got planned for everybody this morning. But before we get started, I want to say a special hello to some of our co-branding partners that are joining us today. Dewald, want to welcome you and your CBT community to Small Cap Big Gains this morning. I know that you guys are working extremely hard to build your community on the Bitcoin TAF platform. Thank you for allowing us access to your community, and welcome to everybody from CBT here this morning. We're really pleased to have you. Also, I'd like to say welcome to the members of the INFOMATIX community, and that would be Nathan and Tomer's community that they've got here with us today. We've invited members across all of their various social platforms to meet Nathan and to discuss the INFOMATIX and Gnosis project. And they've been just absolutely the best partners that we could have ever asked for when it comes to doing a co-branding initiative. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that and what that looked like and how Nathan supported us and what he's got for you guys today, because I think he's got a great project. So with that said, Inus, I know you've been looking into your crystal ball for us this week and providing us with updates and quick picks during the week, but what does your crystal ball say for the coins that are in this week's report, sir? Please take it away.
Thank you, Bo. Appreciate it. I'm so excited for today's call. We got so many new people here and followers and everyone joining from across the world. That's amazing to see. So let's get right into the charts. So as we mentioned, for September, that's going to always be a tough month. I'm just quickly going to touch you on Bitcoin. So you can see from about the 6th of September, we was heading down. We stopped going up into an uptrend. And where everyone thought that 200-day and 50-day moving average is going up, we're starting to come down at the moment. And just quickly looking at the buying levels, that's why we're sort of bouncing on these $40,000 and $39,000 levels, is because we've got wall of orders and support and buy orders sitting in those levels. Again, moving upwards towards the 46 and 50 is going to be quite difficult for Bitcoin to move through those levels again. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. So getting into the coins, going into Aave. Aave is trading into this big broadening pattern with that upwards overhead resistance and the lower support levels. You can see how many times that's been tested, and also coming again to a cycle or a pattern end at the bottom here, which can't really go lower or longer than the 2nd or the 3rd of October. So a move has to happen soon. Anything if we go and bounce on these support levels, see if it holds. I do say September has been the time for laddering in. You can see from here the 21st about just bouncing and retesting these lower support levels. One can add to positions onto those the lower trend lines around at 252 anyway to 270. It's not really tricky to say you have to catch the exact bottom, because should the whole bull market and the year end that we expect play out, you're not really going to worry about $2 or $3 at the end of the day. You just want to have your bags ready and positioned for the rest of the year. So Algo, been a good performer since it broke down out of the bear flag, really hasn't been able to push through into this overhead resistance again. Testing these again, buy zones, ladder in zones, anyway where we trend down to this lower support level as well, could be good opportunities to ladder into more positions. And this, call it a consolidation mode for a symmetrical triangle bigger pattern, also goes to the 9th or the 10th. I'll show you a little bit in other charts. 9th and 10th of October could be pivotal dates for many coins where we can really spiral back upwards. There's sort of a spring loading down, coming into these areas here, maybe by the 6th to the 8th, and then just start going upwards. If you start laddering into these positions, you can look up to north of 158 up to 238%.
Inus, thank you very much. for those calls today. Much appreciated, sir. And just as a friendly reminder to our members, make sure you're checking every day in the announcements channel, because Inus will drop updates into the announcements channel, plus Inus's quick picks. And we know how much you guys like Inus's quick picks. So make sure you're checking out daily the announcements channel. Theresa, I'm going to turn it over to you now, if I may.
Yeah, we're so honored to have Nathan and Tom on the call with us. Nathan is the CEO and founder of INFOMATIX. He's an experienced investor in real estate, cryptos, and artwork. Our journey with Nathan over the past 2 to 3 months has only been pleasant. While negotiating an allocation for our inner circle members, which we got at seed phase. So we were really grateful for that. That was finalized about 2 weeks ago. The first allocation of 25% was dropped to our inner circle members on Monday. And we decided to get him on the call today and allow him to present his project to our community, because we really believe in his project. It is something that is not going to go away. It is something that is going to be in your face all the time, because we are just going to present it to everybody that we know. We really believe in your project, Nathan. We have vetted your project with our 7 steps vetting process, and the results were posted in our report, I think, last week, and it's all over social media. And it's not often that we get a CEO on our calls. So we are really honored to have Nathan and Toma on our calls. And Nathan, can you maybe tell us a little bit about your project?
Yeah, hey everybody, it's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for such a warm introduction, Theresa. So look, we set out originally to build a product called Gnosis, which was a data visualization tool, and the impetus behind that was, look, we just wanted to be able to understand our portfolio and put everything all in one place, which we couldn't do. And so the project of Gnosis was quite successful, and I'll share my screen right now and show you a little bit about Gnosis. So Gnosis was set out to be a data visualization platform that allows investors to visualize their portfolio across multiple asset classes. So look, this was really originally built for me because what I was finding was that I had to log into one portfolio to see my stocks, another portfolio to see my cryptos, another portfolio again to track what my real estate was doing, and there was no one who could value any of my artwork or any of my collectibles. And so I was trying to put together a single source of truth. And so along the road with Gnosis, we've solved most of that. At the moment, we can allow users to visualize stocks, cryptos, currencies, everything like that. You can have it all in there together. So the platform doesn't mind if you're looking at US mining stocks or cryptos. And you can also add your investments that are offline, so your real estate and your things like that. But those valuations are user generated. They're not accurate and they're not verified. And so we set out really, and we spent a long time on this, trying to figure out how to get this alternate asset data. You know, where can we find that Pokemon card data? Where can we find the real estate data? How can we value someone's artwork? And we tried a couple of approaches, but nothing really worked. And you know, now that Gnosis is up and running, it's serving its purpose. The missing piece was really becoming quite obvious. And so we decided that we needed to really solve that, because it didn't look like anyone on the market had really tackled it yet. So that's where INFOMATIX came from. Now, INFOMATIX is really the project we've set out on to democratize the world's financial data. So what we found is that there's no single source of truth for financial information. So we've got, you know, collectible sneaker sites that have some Yeezy data. There's a couple of niche fan groups that are tracking Pokemon cards, but you know, there's no way to have those communicate with each other. There's also surprisingly almost no historical data more than 20 years old that you can find for financial assets, which is obviously a huge problem if you're, you know, looking at a 90-year debt cycle and you're trying to find out where you are in that cycle. If you can only see a 20-year slice, you're not going to be able to make the best decisions. And even the people that did offer that historical data, even though they were missing really the critical piece on the alternate asset classes, were hyper centralized and ultra expensive and therefore out of reach for the retail investor. So what we've done is we've put together a really clever crowdsourcing mechanism in INFOMATIX, and it allows it's going to allow us to create the world's most comprehensive financial database. So there's lots of players that are advertising stock data and crypto data in those regulated industries. But Informatics is really going to be the first to bring that to the alternate asset classes. Informatics has already got its first client in the form of Gnosis. You know, we needed this. This wasn't built as a crypto project originally. This was built as something that we just absolutely needed. And I think the most exciting thing about Informatics is because we've got that first mover advantage, we're going to have some really exciting things happening with network effects, because these niche communities have extremely entrenched raving fan mentality and no one's serving them. So we're really going to be the first one to bring legitimacy to some of these communities. And I think, you know, a Pokemon card investor thinks of themselves as an investor. It's just the traditional investors that might turn their nose up at them. So really what Informatics is going to do is legitimize a whole bunch of communities with really strong entrenched fan groups, which is going to strengthen the project more than anything we could have done with advertising. So we've put together quite an exciting team. Obviously, not talking about myself here, but we've really brought on some heavy hitters to help us with this. So Tamer Garsberg, my business partner, he speaks at TED on the future of work and artificial intelligence. He's run several successful AI companies, and without Tamer, we wouldn't have been able to do all of the exciting things we've done so far, because he just has such a unique experience and a skill set that you can't really find anywhere. And so the problems we've tried to tackle, without someone like Tamer, it's going to be very, very difficult to achieve. Also, our Chief Technical Officer, Sergey. Sergey's got a PhD in applied mathematics and computer science, and what we're doing with Informatics on the back end is some really, I guess, spectacular, novel engineering work that most people won't actually see. But for anyone with a bit more of a technical bent, if you can wrap your mind around what we're trying to do, I think you'll understand why we needed someone like Sergey on board. And then the team has built really around these core roles. So obviously you're all familiar with Bill. Bill has come on as an advisor to help us communicate with the crypto community, which is a community we didn't have as much of a foothold in, as I said, because this was set out originally to be a product that served our need. There was not the original intention to build a cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency was just the next logical step to make this project as fantastic as possible. And the rest of the team that's built around that have got some fantastic products coming out that I'll show you in a moment, that are really going to blow the market away. So I guess if we look at the state of the market at the moment, there are some huge institutional players that have really cornered the market. And so I think that's really where the mentality has come from. The investments of stocks, bonds, even cryptos are getting acceptance now. But because of these really entrenched players not offering alternate asset class data, it's made those assets a little bit more fringe and a little bit less accepted in the investment community. And I'm talking about things like art, collectible cars, jewelry, luxury goods. You know, I would consider a Birkin bag as much of an investment as anything else. But because the big institutional players don't value them and offer pricing data for them, there's that sort of disconnect that really doesn't offer much legitimacy to those investments at the moment, which we're hoping to solve. So we've built Gnosis. That was, I guess, the biggest part. We've built most of what Informatics is going to be, so that back-end piece of collecting the data and sharing it with the user and allowing the user to request in the first place and putting it out to our massive crowdsourced network is all complete. We're just putting some final touches on the actual look and feel of it, so that it's actually user friendly. And then we've also closed our pre-sale. So the Informatics token really functions as a way for the people who are contributing to this network to be paid. So the experts and the valuers that are providing these valuations, the admins that are supporting the system, will all be paid in Informatics tokens. And people who are requesting the data, if they're requesting basic data like the price of a Pokemon card, we'll look after that from Gnosis' side. But there's scope there to really provide some comprehensive data sets and some really in-depth due diligence reporting, because we have access to this crowdsourcing technology. And those requests will be paid for in info tokens. So the great thing about that is it will form a bit of a closed loop that will really take the excess tokens off the market and really drive them back into that ecosystem. And I think that's really what's going to drive the price of the token more than anything else. And so with the INFOMATIX, we've got the landing page here live. Everything's ready to go. We're coming up to our IDO very, very shortly. And Bill and Theresa will have more information for you on that. But if you have any questions, please jump over to the website, have a look at what we're doing. Most of the answers are there. And if they're not, just jump onto our Telegram. We're always there. Our community managers will be there to look after you, make sure all your questions are answered. And as we approach the IDO, all of the details that you're going to need will be addressed in there.
Thank you very much for being on the call today. We know that you have a choice. We know that in this world of ever-evolving cryptocurrencies, in this space, there are lots of other options, lots of other alternatives, lots of other places you can go for information. Inus, Theresa, and I are always grateful for the fact that you've chosen to become a member of Small Cap Big Gains, and we will always do our best to bring you the most accurate and up-to-date information that we possibly can. So thank you very much appreciated. Everybody have a good week. It'll be back to business as usual next Wednesday, but you never know. So don't miss next week's call. Cheers, guys. If you enjoyed today's presentation and found value in its content, please consider becoming a member of the Small Cap Big Gains community. Simply go to bitcointaf.com and click on the link to Small Cap Big Gains and become a member to start enjoying the benefits that membership has to offer.